Good morning, everybody, and welcome to some spiritual whispers with myself and Karen. Karen, I'm so happy that you're here.
Morning.
We decided that this is just a casual come together to connect and share what's going on for each of us personally, as well as to allow all of you who are watching to ask questions or join in or share your experiences and just connect. And Karen and I were just having a beautiful 10 minutes or so of connecting with each other. And we thought we would start together by Karen's going to say a beautiful prayer for us while I just sage the energy here so we can hold that space together.
I'll just close my eyes. And if you're with us, please, I invite you to close your eyes. And I'm asking God or Creator, Great Mystery, Love, Divine Mother, Universe, whatever breath of heaven you choose to be with us here and now. God, we know that you're asking us to rest when we're tired. God, we know that you're asking us to drink when we're thirsty. God, I know that you're asking us to slow down and stop pushing, that we can really serve and do great work when we slow down and nurture ourselves and our bodies. The kind of work that emerges when we're pushed to the limit and feel overwhelmed is not as fruitful as the work that we can do when we have the time. So thank you for giving us this time to do whatever feels right in our hearts. Thank you for giving us the tools to lean into our faith and to trust, to fully trust that you have our highest good in work for us, that we will come out of this victorious and with a stronger connection to you. So please bless all the women that are here watching. Please bless my beautiful soul sister, Deanna, and continue to use us as instruments to serve the world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Karen. This is the card that I pulled for all of us today, ladies. The blessing is a blessed time. The path is clear and all obstacles have vanished. Your time of waiting is over, so proceed with confidence. The challenges you have faced were essential, for there is a perfect time for everything. Now is your perfect time to be blessed by the universe.
Yes.
How are you, Karen? How are you feeling today?
It's so important, though. I just think like that with that card, and it's that, nourished and nurtured people who delight in self-care are the delight of the universe. Like there's been so many times that we start to feel overwhelmed, or we're just pushing so hard and we're trying to get everything done. And, and now it's like, oh, wow, okay, just we get to slow down and have a really good look at what needs nurturing, what needs nourishing, what maybe have we been neglecting, right? And the things that we should have the most gratitude for, we often put on the back burner, right? So it's like this is such an ideal time to really realign with what's important.
I agree. And even in relation to that card as well, the idea that the challenges that we face every day are essential, they are, because it shows us where we're out of alignment. And sometimes it has to come from that external factor like it is right now. But when we can find where we're out of alignment and then just gently start to shift and pivot into what makes us feel good, what lifts us up, what feels nourishing, and do that.
And do more of it, more and more and more.
We were even just saying, I was saying to Karen, like, Karen obviously is always just so beautiful, but you're just glowing today. And you're like, getting time to sleep.
10 hours of sleep a night. So good. Many naps.
Yeah, and it's really important to do that. I think you guys have heard me say this before, and Karen, I think you agree that we're just such a driven society where we always want to be doing more and accomplishing more and doing more. And this is our chance to pause.
Yes.
And to find
with the world, though, with the entire world. Like, usually it's I was thinking about how we had the wildfires, right? And that was crazy for us, and to be displaced all over the province and to be evacuated from our homes, like extremely traumatic. And it was a chapter in our lives that we'll never forget, right? But this is now the entire world that is going through this, which is also going to be a traumatic experience for a lot of people, and we don't know what that will look like down the road for some of the youth and some of the kids. And this will be something in their lives that will affect them either in a negative or a positive way, right?
Probably both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
find it really fascinating being able to. I have texting like group messages with friends all over the world. One of them were from Toronto, Australia, Africa, and BC. It's incredible, this vast connection, and everyone
Hmm.
is going through the same thing in a slightly different, varying degree. My friends in New Zealand, all over the world, and in Wales, just this deep connection where we can speak on the same level
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the same experience, and yet we are in such different places. So to me, this is really a coming together of the global community, whether or not we can actually, whether or not we're doing anything for it. I think it's just happening for us.
Hmm.
It's just creating connection.
Yes. And we don't even need to look at that question as like, what are we doing for it? Like, who cares, right? Like, I mean, yes, of course we care. I don't mean who cares. I mean that it's like we don't want to compare what we're doing in our own little town to what somebody's doing in their own little town. Like, everybody is going to deal with this in the way that needs, to sort of unfold for each of us,
Yeah.
right? We don't have a rule book or a guide on how to handle this or how we should be feeling and what we should be doing. It's like we've never experienced this before. So as long as we're present with our feelings and our emotions and accepting of how we're feeling, right? Like, it's almost like, I know that there's people that are, experiencing their own ascension right now, their own awakening. They're coming out of their suffering and they're coming into their light, and they almost don't want to share that with people because they feel bad because they're rising and some people are really crumbling, right? But it's like, no, it's okay for us all to feel different things at different times and to accept that we're not all going to be dealing with this the exact same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for any of you who may have read the blog post that I posted last night or this morning, I had the most incredible conversation with. We have two teenagers that are living with us, which I love. They're quarantined with us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fascinating. We had this, or they're both 19, and we had this incredible conversation about the younger generations. And what I'm really seeing from different books that I've read, that conversation, other conversations I've had, is we're coming into a way of being that has so much less judgment towards other people's choices and other people's emotions. And I
Mhm.
find it just so beautiful that we're having this awakening into a place where it doesn't matter how you live your life, you are just accepted as you are. And of
Yeah.
course, there's still complications and challenges, and everyone's going to work through their own inner worries and fears of self-doubt. But for a global community to have less judgment and more acceptance for self,
Yes.
for others, for all, to me, that is love. That is just pure love.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what it's all about, is love. Like, love is the healing application that we need to be applying to all of these wounds that are happening because of this virus, this pandemic, right? But it's like, I feel very blessed to be in this place that I'm in. Whereas, for the last 6 years, the work that I've been doing, the inner work, the sacred journey, my own awakening to consciousness, my own, journey. And that's all because I got sober. That's the only reason. Like, I think about, if I wasn't sober during this, like, I would just kill myself. Like, that's legit truth. Like, because the fear would have just completely consumed me. And so today it's like, I've seen, I have a really high level of gratitude as it is, but it's like this has even expanded my level of what I'm actually grateful for. And what it really comes down to is, how I can navigate these unfamiliar waters, these totally new waters, with comfort, with ease, with peace, and to hold an equanimous mind, so that, the sanctuary that I'm trying to create in my mind is a safe place, because not all of my thoughts are safe. I'm human just like everybody else. I have fear, right? But how long will I stay in that fear? Right? So it's like yoga and recovery has been preparing me for this very thing. And I think, like, wow, like, God sure did know 6 years ago that I would need to be sober for this, right?
Well, and Karen, I was thinking about you this morning, and just how many challenges you have moved throughout your life with such this incredible grace. And I know that of course, you have your like bathroom floor moments when everything is
Yeah.
falling apart, but the way that
Mhm.
you continue anchoring back into love, coming back to love, being of service, offering yourself to others, offering yourself to God, it's just,
Mhm.
it's truly beautiful and like a miracle to watch, to see how much you've accomplished and created and keep expanding,
Mhm.
considering what you've already been through. You are an incredible mentor and leader.
Thank you. And honestly, Deanna, like, when I receive those words from you, like I feel them and I accept them and I allow them.
Yeah.
I don't want, like, there was a time where I'd be like, no, I'm none of those things. I'm an awful person. I was so bad. I did horrible things. I saw horrible things. Of course, in my journey through addiction, like there was a darkness that, was comparable to living hell, right? Like dying with my eyes open, of course. But it's like the work that I've done in the last 6 years, it's like I feel like, karmatically, like I have to find new ways to continue to give back to, um, everyone, just for the life that I get to live today, right? Because not everybody will get an opportunity to recover or to find the light or to find a way to be useful to their fellows, and all of those things, right? And it's like I just can't explain so, basically, at one time I was, insane, right? Like completely insane, just like mentally, bodily, physically, emotionally insane. And to be restored to sanity, to have clarity, and to not fall back into character defects, like, to not to be able to use the tools that I've been given through yoga and through recovery, to be able to stay grounded and to understand that, like, this is about your level of faith and your level of trust. Like, I believe fear is like a poison, and it will, like, glom on to people, and it'll be passed from person to person. Like, it's more dangerous than the virus, the fear, right? And the
Mhm.
only thing that drives out fear is love,
Yeah.
right? So if we can just take it that simple and know that, okay, love drives out fear. Where can I apply more love?
Yes.
Who can I love on today? How
Yeah.
can I give someone my love so that I can receive love back, right? It's like that never ending loop of giving and receiving. And it's like, I mean, how lucky am I that I have beautiful women like you in my life that I can just call up and be like, oh, I know she'll calm me down. Oh, I know she'll stay, and it's like, but I ask permission. Do you have a moment to hold
Yeah.
space for me? Can you be that container for me? Because maybe you're not in that place either, and we need to go somewhere else with our, we
Yeah.
both need to get grounded or whatever. It's just such a beautiful, like, exchange, right?
Oh, yes. There's two things that my whole body has goosebumps right now from everything that you were sharing. One thing is, I don't remember who said it, but someone has been quoted before saying that fear cannot exist in the presence of love. And
Mm,
so exactly what you're saying, love, it pushes that fear away, and it just allows that love to come to fruition.
mm,
So focusing on that is just so important. And
mhm,
I was having a conversation with a dear friend yesterday, and she had shared that she had a conversation with somebody else who she hadn't connected with in a few weeks. And it was uncomfortable, and this person was in that place where she needed to be grounded but wasn't even seeking to ground, and it was fear-based, and it was scary, and it was uncomfortable. And as I talked to my friend, she said, I had to end the conversation and come back to where I'm safe, come back
yeah,
to my soul sisters, come back to
yeah,
that space where I get to be in a place where I know that everything is okay, and we can find that love in amongst the challenge and the chaos and the destruction, because the fear, it will suck you in,
yeah,
and it's not where
mhm.
you want to be.
Yes. And I think that's important too, so important for all of us to understand and to know that we're allowed to protect our energy. Like,
Yes.
it's okay. If something is triggering something inside of you that's disturbing to your spirit, you're allowed to walk away from it, right? Especially right now. You know what I mean? Because fear weakens the immune system and love strengthens it, right? This is like scientifical, facts. So it's like, whatever, if, and I get it, because if you get down a rabbit hole with someone or with the TV or whatever, thank God I don't have cable, so I've never watched the news. I mean, I've gotten snippets of factual information from trusted sources or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this is a time where we're given a gift that we can say yes or no to people, places, and things, right? Because we have to honor ourselves, right? And then we can really look at, like, if you look at the, last 5 conversations that you've had, are they inspiring you or bringing you down?
Mhm.
Right? Look at the last 10 text messages in your phone. Are they inspiring you or bringing you down? Right? We get to choose and decide who's holding space with us, like who's like minded. Because the ripple that this universe needs right now, that ripple of love, the size of the ripple is going to be based on the number of people connected to that ripple. Right? So we want to find as many like minded people as possible that, you know, hold space for us and accept us exactly as we are, but also are those light bringers. You know what I mean? We're all healers of this earth. We are all healers of this earth. Every single one of us has a gift to heal this earth, right? But we want to be with the like-minded people that activate that light within us so that we can come out of the dark and then we can show others the way out.
Mm-hmm. In the book, Gabrielle Bernstein's new book, Super Attractor, she talks about the emotional spectrum and how it's not always about just being in that state of joy, but it's about taking you one step closer to that joy, one step closer to that love. So if you're in like deep, deep anger about what's occurring in the world, about the suffering that's happening, because we all feel that as well, allow yourself to acknowledge that, allow yourself sacred space to process, and then ask, how can I take one step closer to love? How can I, what action can I take? What words can I share? What can I offer up to God and to the universe? Who can I connect with to take that one step closer? Because as we are all energy, as the world is all energy, the universe is energy, when our energy is emulating closer to love, those energy molecules of love, is helping to raise the vibration. So those who are in suffering and can't do that work, they get to be lifted without even trying. And that's the power that all of us, especially in this consciousness, that's our strength, that's our ability. Let yourself have the emotion, let it process, and come back to that state of love to keep holding that vibration for all of us together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with experiencing the full spectrum of emotions, right? And especially it's like, you know, if you're often in joy and you're often like a, you know, pretty even person that is experiencing happiness as sort of the regular state that you're in, it's okay if you're all of a sudden like, whoa, I just felt like anger, or I felt sadness, or I felt grief. For me, what I've experienced in the beginning of this was the feeling of grief. It was like a heaviness of like a grief, a loss. You know, it just felt like grief, right? And I had to sit with that and experience that and be like, you know what? It's okay, Karen, that you feel that way right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. You're human. Now, like Deanna said, what can I do to bring myself back to love?
Yeah.
You know, and for me, it's often self-care, nurturing and nourishing myself. Whatever that feels like, it doesn't matter what we're doing. It just matters how we're doing what we're doing. Like, you're putting on your face cream. It's like, oh, are you doing it like so loving your skin and just sending, you know, through your fingertips, just like sending love, vibrating into your skin, into your cells, into your pores. Like, our intention behind what we're doing is what holds the magic, you know?
I'm so happy you shared that. It's really fascinating because this month in Empowered Woman Mastery, we're talking about the difference between being and doing. And that's the whole component. The doing is the action that we're taking. And what happens in the world is the action itself doesn't fully matter. It's the intention and the beingness behind it. So like you shared, putting on your face cream, cooking a dinner, going through a meditation, going for a walk, working out, everything can be an offering of love. Everything can be a meditative experience if that's your intention and that's the beingness that you bring to it. And that's the power that we have for control over our lives and how we're feeling. Everything can be an offering. Everything can be deeper to your heart and to others that you love and to the heart of the universe and the heart of the earth. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And that's, like you said, everything can be an offering. So I've been doing these little rituals where I'm calling it like, make this sacred, right? What am I doing? How can I make this sacred? Whether it's like I'm lighting my smudge, or I'm pulling a card, or I'm cooking for my family, or I'm teaching the girls how to bake, whatever, just like, let's make this moment sacred. Let's be so present, right? Because these are opportunities that I haven't had in a long time, right? Like, I run a business, I'm working 24/7. It's like, you know, how can I slow down and be present for the people that I am, you know, quarantined with or whatever, but also how can I do every little thing with sacred intention? And it just makes me feel like more purposeful, more meaningful, and like everything matters, you know, like just the way that I'm walking on the earth, the way that I'm, you know, holding my standing up straight, or, you know, what am I feeling in my body in every moment? You know, what is my vibration? What is the frequency? Like, I don't want to just have that good frequency when I'm in class, or, you know, or surrounded by my tribe. It's like, I want to hold that frequency even when I'm just by myself. Right.
Yeah, and something that I think is important for anyone who's watching that is like this is all great, but I'm just like, like the kids are crazy or the house is crazy. And I'm, my partner and I are fighting all the time, or I'm eating crap, and all like the physicality of everything is just heavy
Mhm.
on you. Remember
Mhm.
that it's important to take space to let that to process. So maybe that is asking your family to give you 20 minutes and you go outside and you go into the forest and you yell and scream. Or maybe that's you take a really hot shower and you let the water wash over you and you just are responsible for no one in that moment. Or, getting a sweaty workout in, even though your kids are hanging off you, you just keep going. Whatever it is that you need to let some of that energy out, it's
Mhm.
energy. It just needs to flow, and it allows you to come back to a place where you can allow everything to be so sacred for you.
Mhm.
Just when you're like pushing to like, okay, I've got to be peaceful. I've got to be peaceful. I have
Yeah.
to be love, but there's that like anger or frustration energy in you. Know that it is so perfect to
Yeah.
let it go, to let it process, to let it flow. You're not supposed to be peaceful when you're angry. It's about
Exactly.
letting it go.
And, regardless of your circumstances, like regardless of if you have small children or you're alone, completely alone, I mean, we're never alone, but if you live alone, you don't have a partner, whatever, or, regardless of how many pets you have or whatever, your circumstances, our relationship with ourselves is the most important one.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like there's no comparisitis. Like we don't have to compare, oh, but she doesn't have little kids. Oh, she doesn't have, oh, she has this. Oh, she already worked from home. Oh, blah blah blah. No comparisitis. Just just nurture the relationship that you have with yourself. That's the most important relationship we will ever have, is the one we have with ourselves.
Mhm.
Right? So even if you're like up to your eyeballs with like your kids, mom, 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 you know what I mean? Like it's okay. The relationship that you have with yourself,
Mhm.
start turning those feelings into inward affirmations of like, wow, I get to be a mom.
Mhm.
Wow, I'm a mom. That's so amazing. I made these little humans, and like all they want is for me to like, pay attention to them or whatever, but just keep nurturing the relationship that you have with yourself, because the quality of that relationship will dictate all the other relationships in your life. If the relationship you have with yourself is not quite right, none of your relationships will be quite right.
Yeah. That's so true. And you guys know my phrase of you are the common denominator of your life. Every experience that occurs, you are the thing that's common in each of those experiences. So if you're going to pour attention, energy, or love somewhere, make sure you pour it there. Make
That's
sure.
right.
Mm.
100%, right? And accept your wants and needs. Accept
Yeah.
all of your wanting, all of your needs. And when we're doing that, then we're ready to give love, which in turn we receive love,
Yes.
right? So it's like,
Yeah. It
yeah,
overflows. Like if you're trying to give love to everyone and you feel empty, it's exhausting. And
yeah,
you will become exhausted, chronic fatigue. There's no motivation, there's no drive for anything in life because you're empty.
yeah,
But the more we can fill ourselves, it happens naturally.
yeah.
The flow of giving to others feels so nourishing because you feel whole, you feel full, you feel good.
And there's so much backup, you know, proof of that, right? Like even think about when you're on the airplane and they say like, okay, moms, you're gonna put your face mask on first, and then you know what I mean? It's like we can't pour from an empty cup,
Yeah, no,
right?
it's not possible.
Yeah, it's all about how we nurture and nourish ourselves so that we can be the best us for the people that we do love so much.
Yeah. I want to just take a moment. I know that we have quite a few of you beautiful ladies here with us, and I see a few comments coming in. Thank you. Keep sharing. If you have any questions or anything that you're moving through right now that you just want us to hold some space for, or offer any thoughts or any guidance that we can, please ask questions now. Please allow that to come through, and we're happy to hold that space. I can't say everybody's names, so I'm going onto my phone to see who is posting the comments. And Susan, I just want to share yours. Susan says, I have a friend undergoing cancer treatment in all of this. Send her prayers. She is a forest lover and misses her trees. Yeah, we're sending her love. We're holding her in just such a beautiful, beautiful space, beautiful energy of finding the balance within her body, finding the balance within her heart, and knowing that everything is working in divine timing that is of service to her. Even when things don't look the way we want them to, even when things are challenging, we are being divinely guided, and the energy of the forest and the trees is always, always, always with her. Just sending her love. Hmm. Thank you for sharing that, Susan. Christy, how can we help our partners to find some self-care? That's a very good question.
One bath.
One of the things that I just think is so important is that you lead by example. You can never make anyone's decisions for them. You cannot make their choices for them. You cannot force them to do things. You might try, but it is not sustainable and it won't last. But when you lead by example, by continuously always choosing to just do what is right for you in that moment and shifting the way you show up in your life to be of service for yourself, it helps others to see how possible it is. And it also helps them to see the joy in you, like how good you feel when you choose you. I had a conversation similar to this yesterday, also just about acceptance of other. And it was in a coaching call actually, and talking about how maybe your partner wants to eat McDonald's. Maybe your partner wants to make choices that maybe are not in their healthiest options, but can we create acceptance over judgment? Because when we do, the energetic quality of the environment that your relationship is in creates more safety for them to consider choosing something different for themselves. Not because you tell them to or suggest it, but they feel safer to try something new and not be in a place of judgment. Because we don't even realize this is happening, but we may say, I think I want to try this. And as a partner, because maybe they never follow through on the things they say or what might be, you might make a side comment of, oh yeah, another one of those things you're going to try, hey. And we don't realize, but the energy that's occurring there is that of judgment, and that person is more likely to not feel safe, to not feel comfortable to try new things. So just coming into a state of acceptance of where they are and the choices that they're making and loving them from that place can be enough to help them create change in their life that is of service to them. Yeah.
Beautiful. I make Matt work out with me 3 days a week.
That's good.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't really love working out. Whereas when I found that out, I was like, what? You don't love to? He's like, no, but I like the way I feel when I do. So thank you for, pushing me to do it.
Well, I was always so confused because Luke doesn't love to work out either. He just never works out. And I was always frustrated. These things that I'm doing, this is how it needs to be. And then I realized he'll go out and chop wood for like an hour and a half, or he goes to his shop and has to rearrange things. He's carrying these massive, I don't know even what they are, doing things physically all day, every day. So he actually is getting the movement that his body needs. I just didn't comprehend it. I just didn't understand because it wasn't doing a workout online.
Yeah, true. And even like things that maybe they would never do, like putting on a meditation and just laying on the bed, holding hands, listening to a meditation. It can be short, 10 to 12 minutes. And you're asking for 10 to 12 minutes of their undivided attention where you can connect and hold hands and just get out of your head. It's once they do it a few times, I find like, Matt actually really looks forward to when I'm like, hey, let's lay down and just have a 10-minute, it's 10 minutes, right? But it does bring you together and connect and just, it feels really good to just hold hands for 10 minutes straight, not talking.
Yeah. And I think something too that hopefully our society is going to continue to shift with right now is there's a lot of flack from more of the masculine men in the world that this self-care is more feminine, and it's not. This makes everybody feel good. Having time to not stress and worry and think about all the things going on feels incredible. Having time to connect with your partner, connect with yourself, leaves you feeling energized and open and connected. And so I think, Karen, I love that. You had even said earlier, when you reach out to a friend, like, can you support me right now? Can I share with you what's going on? We ask, do you have space for this? And same thing for your partner. Do you have space for us to come together and connect for a few minutes? Do you have space to put down your phone and have a conversation with me? I ask that question often. Both of us ask it to each other, because otherwise it's like, hey, how come you're not paying attention to me? Where, like, come here and be a part of this with me right now. Maybe that's not where they're at. They're dealing with something else. So yeah, having that.
Another really good one too is if you choose like a special song like that, with beautiful words and whatever. There's so many amazing, beautiful like love songs, and you ask, would you have a moment today that we could choose a time where we could have a slow dance? It's a 3-minute song. And you just do a slow dance, like old school, like slow dance. One song. And that connection, that holding of space for one another without words, but having that moment to just slow dance 3 minutes. It changes everything. Yeah, we got to find little ways to sneak in little self-care things without them thinking that we're like, well, I always get called like a witch, right? Like, so.
Oh, I love that, Karen. Chantel, you also shared, I need to work through codependent recovery steps. Yeah, codependency is a beautiful challenge to go through and brings us a lot closer to our hearts when we actually make that conscious choice. Karen, I feel like you might have a few words that you could share.
Definitely. So Chantel, this is huge and it totally saved me from myself, right? I was extremely codependent, extremely, my whole life. Anyway, after my last marriage ended, I did a set of the codependent no more steps. So they're called the CODA steps, CODA, the CODA steps. So what I did was that they're 12 steps, just like it's another 12-step program for codependency. I did one step a month for 12 months, right? So I took a whole year of celibacy, a whole year of no dating, no hooking up, no nothing, and did one step a month so I could really, drive each step home and spend that whole month on that one step and so on for 12 months. Literally, I'm not like, no word of a lie. 3 days after I finished the codependent steps, Matt walked into my yoga class and I was like, that's him.
Wow, I did not know that connection.
I can send you the information, Chantel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know that background that you had done. I knew when you had met Matt and you knew kind of instantly that that was who you wanted to be with, but I didn't realize that you had done that level of work with yourself. That's power. Wow.
Yeah, had to, right? Like had to. It just the pattern that was my whole life was like, codependent on a man, codependent to take care of me, to put a roof over my head, to be a dad to my kids, blah, 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 blah. Like, and I just didn't know who I was without a man. And it was, but I had been growing my self-worth and my dignity, my self-respect, my self-love, all of that through my yoga practice. Like I had actually fallen in love with myself. And that's what pretty much ended my last marriage, that and his infidelities and, that kind of stuff. But however, right, it's like, once you are vibing high at a level where, all I was attracting before was low vibe people because my vibration was so low and I hated myself, right? So of course, what was served to me was equally low vibe people, right? So changing that and falling in love with myself and understanding that like I wasn't searching for my other half because I'm not a half. I'm whole all on my own. Someone can come into my life and add value to it, but like I got me. I'm good, right? I don't need nothing from nobody. And that's a very freeing feeling, right? Because no more walking on eggshells. It's like, like yeah, it's just anyway, you'll love it. It's an amazing program and I'll send that to you, Chantel.
Yep. Maybe you could even post a link to it or something in the comments after for anyone else who's watching. Something that I have just organically started doing in terms of kind of self-care, self-love is when I listen to love songs, when I listen to even like I have a deep love of the Backstreet Boys because of the time that I grew up, and it was at that pivotal moment when I was a young teenager and like I don't know, whatever. It means a lot to me. So when I listen to the songs of the Backstreet Boys, they're all love songs. I no longer envision it as two people coming together in a loving relationship. I envision it as either my heart saying like, I'm here for you. I'm ready for you. Come to me. Or God, I'm here for you. I love you. Come to me. And every time I listen to a love song, that is now just the vision that I hold and the energy that I feel. And it brings me to tears. I've had so many times driving in my car just crying because I can just feel the amount of love that my own heart and my own higher self and the universe holds for me as I am now. Not when I, reach this level, not when I figure this out, not when I change these patterns. Right now, in the wholeness of who I am so loved. And that is the same for every single one of us. It's tuning in to realizing that that is there for you right now. I love you, Karen.
I love you.
Let's maybe start to bring this to a close and let's just take a moment to take a few breaths. And I would just love you, Karen, just to find something in your heart that feels that it wants to be shared with everyone who's watching this, with everyone who is just feeling this energy of us together and this collective and holding space for each other. Something in your heart that wants to be shared.
Yeah, let me ask here. Let me ask my heart what it's wanting to say. Just a moment. Yes. So my heart wants to tell you that we are sisters, right? That even if we don't know each other or have never met, we are sisters. And there is an ancestral, primal part of us that recognizes this. And so my heart wants us to go out into this day with as much love as possible, that we could apply love into every situation just for today, just one day at a time, not worried about tomorrow, but just in this day, that we will think kind and loving thoughts, and we will speak with virtuous words, and we will do righteous action. We will gather immense self esteem by doing esteemable things just for today.
It's beautiful. Karen, are you comfortable if we close our conversation together the way that you close classes in the studio?
Yes, yes.
So ladies, I'm going to ask Karen to guide this, but I want each of you at home, I don't care if there's people around you, you can say this out loud. I want you to feel it coming from your heart. Karen's going to say 3 phrases and you're going to repeat them, but just allow it to really come from your heart and feel the energy of these words and know that they're already true. Whether or not you consciously, cognitively can believe that, know that they already are true, and we're just opening the gates to experience more of it.
Okay, so palms together. So making this universal sign, the prayer hands on Julie Mudra. Feel the energy between your palms, your fingertips. You are perfect. And then repeat after me. I love my life.
I love my life.
I love my body.
I love my body.
I love myself.
I love myself.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Karen. I love you so much.
It was so good to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you too. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Have an incredible day. Mwah.